do a serious one.
Yeah.
So joining you live from the World Championship 2023 in Barcelona, the Living Legend podcast.
This episode of the Living Legends podcast is brought to you by the Banished Zone in Wernersville, Pennsylvania. More than just a hobby store, but a hub for community building and fostering the love of gaming in all of its forms. Whether you're an avid card gamer, a strategic board game aficionado, or a lover of miniature gaming, they have something for everyone. And their carefully curated collection boasts a wide range of games, ensuring that you'll find the perfect fit for your gaming preferences. They only opened their store in June 2023, but already have been fostering a fantastic community. Make sure you visit their store, thebanishzone.com, and use the affiliate code LIVING10LEGENDS for 10% off one order per customer. Make sure you make the most out of it, and stay banished. That American accent is killing me. Anyway, let's get back to the pod.
Excellent.
Fantastic. Well, welcome back to the Living Legends podcast. I'm your host for today. My name's Az from Go Again Gaming. And as always, joined by Bill and Kel. How's it going, folks? Been a while. Well, it feels like it's been a while, at least, that we've done this format.
It's been exactly 1 week for all of the listeners out there.
Yeah, but for us, we filmed our last one on what was it? Not this past Saturday, but the Saturday before. So it's been like a week and a half for us.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Which, considering how it's been for the last year and a half, that's a pretty long time. We usually it's usually pretty like clockwork once a week. So.
Yeah, I think it feels like it's been longer because we actually recorded on a Saturday because we were together on the weekend, and recently we've been doing Tuesdays, which is probably why it feels like a bit longer since we did this. But yeah, are we all adjusted? But are we all adjusted back now, Bill? You had a big long trip back to Canada, didn't you, from Barcelona? Me, not so much.
Yeah. Oh man, that was the flight. The flight back was not too bad. It was a lot better than the flight there. I didn't have a 5-hour layover in Montreal like I did on the way there, so that helped out quite a bit. I think I was also able to sleep on the long haul flight from Frankfurt to Montreal. I think I probably slept for about half of it, so that also helped a lot. But I'm glad that it just sort of lined up that I started to feel a little bit burned out and I kind of want to go home. Basically the night of Sunday, I was like, okay, perfect. This is, I'm not burned out too early. I don't feel like I'm missing anything by staying because I need to go home. I need to go to sleep in my own bed.
We did get a comment.
That being said, though.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, that being said, that final night was pretty cool because obviously we met up with DM Armada in the hotel lobby and played UPF like we always do at Worlds. Kel did that before last time. Hotel lobby UPF for the win.
Yeah, like 1 a.m. hotel lobby UPF. That was with Yorick. That was with, if I remember correctly, it was with Yorick, and then Ian Kenterdine, Olivia Gobert-Hicks, and Flake were there as well.
That's it.
And DM Armada, he was there too. Yeah, it was fun. It was good times. I don't remember.
Hotel lobby.
Did I win?
UPF.
Either Steven or I won. One of us won. I don't remember which, but it was fun.
Yeah, because that Worlds, you went back to the hotel room and you just left me at the bar because I was getting on it.
Well, yeah, we were like, "Hey, yes, you wanna come with us?" And you were like, "No, I'm just gonna stay here." And we're like, "All right, man." Be safe.
Sounds about right, doesn't it, Bill?
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
From my own experience, that's exactly how it happens.
Yep.
But it was good fun.
Madman.
What an absolute madman. But yeah, it was good fun. That last night was pretty good. Obviously, I got to play with DM Armada's foil Kano deck and had a whale of a time.
Yeah.
Just literally pitching to Kano. I had a massive pitch stack of 10 cards in my pitch zone. I was just blasting through it, just loving life. It's a fun deck, to be fair.
DM Armada was playing basically full group hug melody. And
that's right.
I think at one point Az had 10 cards in his hand or something. It was wild.
Wow.
It was a lot.
No. I was probably for anyone watching that from the outside in, if it was a piece of content on something, they'll be like, Az is doing absolutely stupid things here. He's not playing optimally whatsoever. Just not making the most out of his 10-card hand, just loving life.
I don't think any of us necessarily were. It just helped a lot that Steven and Max Ferocity, who was our fourth, they both had Drone of Brutality in their deck, and me and Az did not. So,
that's right.
Yeah.
The game just lasted long enough for them to be like, haha, drone.
Drone lock, here we go. Yeah. But that was pretty fun. Yeah, pretty fun enter night. I mean, I tried staying up for as long as possible because I know you were staying up to get your taxi at 3:30 in the morning. I was just like, sorry, I'm going to have to go to bed now. And then you just left in the middle of the night. I was asleep because you had to get your taxi to the hotel, to the airport.
Yeah, and thankfully that did happen. I had ordered it on Uber for it to show up at whatever, and I had placed the reservation or whatever like a couple hours before, maybe about halfway through the Sunday, honestly. And then I had it come for 3:40. And 3:40 comes up and then passes, and it's still like, hey, just like searching for a driver for you. And then like 5 minutes later, it's like, hey, there are no drivers available. I'm like, how do I get a taxi in a strange country where I don't speak the language? And so I like just tried to rebook a thing, and it just automatically matched me with somebody, thankfully. So
that's right then.
Yeah, I didn't end up being late for anything. I even had time to stop by a McDonald's in the airport. Spanish McDonald's has a burger called the Mick Extreme.
That's literally what I had on the way out on the day.
The Mick Extreme.
I had the 3 cheese one. It was actually really good.
Very messy.
It had like crispy onions and camembert, and like it was a relatively fancy burger for an airport McDonald's, and I was actually impressed.
I love how you had that at like 4 a.m. That's crazy.
Oh yeah. I was sitting at my gate at like 4:15, 4:30, and I was just like, yeah.
Got to get your energy somehow, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the last thing I had eaten was some patatas bravas at the hotel lobby, and that was at like 10 o'clock or something. And I was like, well, I have a full day of traveling ahead of me. I should get something. And that was a good something. For anybody who is in Spain that has not tried it, or people who are going to Spain, weird recommendation. But if they have the Mick Extreme, try it out.
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to extreme, how extreme was the Mick Extreme?
I mean, again, like I eat a lot of fast food. I like fast food. I like food in general. But like, and you know, like real food doesn't necessarily tier on the same list as like real food. But in terms of fast food, this was a good fast food burger. It was also the equivalent of like 15 Canadian dollars though. So it was very expensive. It was like €9 or something for just the burger. But so it was expensive, but I honestly thought it tasted pretty good. Maybe it was just because I had been up for 20 hours straight at that point and had the prospect of traveling for the next 20 hours as well. So that could have made a difference there.
So like a 7 or an 8 then on the extreme scale?
I'd say 7.5. We'll split the difference.
Okay, cool.
But anyway, so that was my experience coming back. But Az, what did you have?
Yeah, well, I had a similar. I think it was like a cheesy thing, but it had like all this barbecue sauce in it, and the sauce was just like leaking out of the burger. It was really messy, and I didn't have any napkins either at the time. So what I basically had to do was use my water, and then pour the water onto my hands and wash my hands like that. Just because there was no napkins, and I couldn't be asked to get up and go and get them. So, but very, very messy, very, 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 very interesting to see that in Spain. But it's a shame that's all over now. But we're back to do it all over again here on the Living Legends podcast in our separate abodes.
Yes.
Kel will have his Legend Story Studios hoodie very soon because Bill picked that up for him.
It is currently in my possession.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so first of all, just a shout out to the Banished Zone. So thanks very much for sponsoring this episode of Living Legends podcast. I just want to shout out their Skirmish event, which is happening on the December the 9th. at 1 o'clock, so 1 p.m. Blitz, obviously, $15 to enter. And in addition to the prizing provided by LSS, obviously they do all their normal raffles as well to give away packs and boxes based on the turnout. So in this video, there should be a link in the description box below to the link to the website where you can buy tickets. And Kel, I'll give that to you in a moment or after this, so people can go and go and buy the tickets to the skirmish. But we got a couple of skirmish tales as well going into our week in Fab. But before we go into that, do we have anything else to shout out with regards to sort of content wise or anything that we've been doing elsewhere before we go into all the skirmishes? Because that's probably the meat of our weeks, I imagine.
I have stuff, but I'm going to save it for the Arsenal step because a lot of it is not Flesh and Blood related. So I'll save my stuff for the Arsenal step. The only like Flesh and Blood stuff related things are I finally got all 3 of my foil already deads. So nice. I got my nice to continue the. You can't really see it here. I don't have the lights on it, but these are all foil already deads to go with my cold foil Shriek Razors. So now I have my Uzuri deck is continued to be updated to be 100% foil. Well, it's like 95% foil. My E-Strikes are not foil, but they are all alpha. They are all pink pitch. They're not foil, but they're alpha.
In terms of price, the same as unlimited foil, I think.
I think they're actually more. I do.
Because I think they were short printed in alpha, right? Like they were basically really hard to pull, or was it just the foil ones?
All of the Majestics are like super hard to pull in alpha because you only get like 2 per box.
Because of the supers.
Yeah, so I don't know, but I actually do have, not to flex, but I guess to flex, I actually do have a playset of foil E-Strikes, but I prefer the pink pitch ones, so I run the pink pitch instead of the foil ones. The foil ones are in my my Lexi Blitz deck. But,
yeah, it's a good time to grab all of your assassin cards if you don't have them or if you haven't pimped them all out, because obviously we got some 6 spoilers, which again we'll go into in a bit later with regards to assassin cards going to be coming in the expansion slot. And it actually made me, when seeing those spoilers, which again we'll get into later, it made me buy just a random box of Outsiders in the hope of pulling assassin stuff. Because assassin is a very, very cool class, and we'll get into the spoilers later. I've said that about 3 times now, but I really do like the way they're going with it, with the fact that assassin can access information that your opponent doesn't even know themselves at that point in time, which I think is a great design space for assassin to be in, because they're stalking the opponent and getting all the information before they make their attack and all this. We'll get into that a little bit later. But the box was rubbish, absolute crap box that I got. So waste of money all round. So buy the singles you need instead, preferably from the Banished Zone. Yeah, good. You see that? That's really good.
We do have a coupon code. It's in the description of every episode. But we do have a coupon code for the Banished Zone where you get, I think it might be 10% off site wide.
That's right.
Yeah. So if you want to pick up a bunch of singles, that's not a bad idea. If you want to get like 10% off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
exactly. And the online store is open now, so definitely go and check it out. That's all in the description box below. They're going to be doing a skirmish soon, but we did some skirmishes as well this week. I streamed mine just off the cuff. Went to Mystic Games in Witney, Oxfordshire. So that's probably the local-ish game store to where I am. There's nothing in Swindon apart from a hole in the floor. So we have to travel to Witney, which is sort of near Oxford in the UK, to do a skirmish there, which was absolutely awesome. I took Azalea, but I was mainly sort of loving just streaming the event. There was a lot of people watching. Well, a lot of people to me anyway, 30 plus, just tuning in to watch the skirmish. And it was a great thing because the meta was fairly wide open. Of course, there's a lot of Kasai. We'll go into yours in a bit, Bill, with regards to your meta as well. But there was 3 Kasai, 1 Prism Advent. So obviously the new Prism, a Rhinar, an Azalea, an Uzuri, and something else. 2 Rhinars, actually, sorry. So 2 Rhinars, 3 Azuris, Azalea, Prism, and I've lost track of what it is. But yeah, it's fairly wide open. And it managed to come down to a Rhinar versus Prism final, which again, all of this is on Go Again Gaming. There is a stream there. And the Rhinar was just so big brain. It was ridiculous. And this was won by a Japanese fella who is just traveling around the world, it seems, looking at his Twitter, because I've got him now on Twitter, traveling around the world, it seems, just cleaning up skirmishes for the crack. Just, just turning up to random skirmishes, rinsing everybody with his big brain Rhinar deck, also getting out his folder, which is just like full to the brim of just absolute swag. He had like good deeds promos. He had all the stuff that we get as content creators. He somehow managed to procure it. So he must be sort of investing in people that don't want those or wants to offload those cards. But yeah, shout out to him. He was awesome. He was on stream. Eugene C was what he goes by on Twitter. But he's from Japan. He has mates in Osaka that do like fancy altars. He gave me an altar, like an Azalea altar, which had like Japanese writing on it, and I don't have it on me, which is a bit of a shame. But I could have showed it off. But yeah, awesome guy. And he cleaned up the event with Rhinar, which was great. So go back and watch it on Go Again Gaming. It was great stuff. It's basically like using the scab skin leathers to gain action points and then play Tome of Fiandel out of his arsenal and then essentially have Go Again, because obviously you've got more action points, gaining loads of life and then playing Blood Rush and then it's just absolutely outrageous turn. But yeah, it was really, really good fun. And I do like Blitz, but I just don't feel there's enough room. Well, there could be in the future for Azalea to operate, but there's just too much high optimization going on with Kasai and all this at the moment to really operate in that format.
We'll talk about that a little bit later, I guess, because you're not going to have to worry about Kasai anymore.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah. But how did yours go? I went 1-3, and the only victory was a bye, so I went 3-0, but 0-3 basically. So yeah, there's nothing to report there. But how did yours go, Bill? What was yours like?
Mine was pretty good. I went 2-2. I was playing Bravo because I was going to play Chain, but also
Living Legend.
Yeah. So I still think that once a week is a little fast. Just personally. My opinion has not changed since we talked about it initially. I think that once every cycle was too infrequent, and I think that once a week is too many. So I think that once a month would be great.
Yeah.
Would have loved to play Chain at least one more time, but it is what it is. I played against... Who did I play against? I played against Kasai in round 4 and lost because I'm not a coward and I didn't block. Just prefer to punch, that's just how I am. Played against 2 Vinsets. One was a win, one was a loss. And then round 3, I played against a Dash and I won that one. There was also a Prism Advent of Thrones. There were, I think, 2 Kasais. There was another Bravo. I think we had like 12 or 13 people. So it was a pretty decent turnout. And it ended up being actually Vinset versus Kasai in the finals. Kasai ended up winning it out.
Yeah, not surprised.
But it's funny because, and if they're listening at all, shout out to Jay and Tyler. They were the 2 Vinsets. They like perfectly mirrored each other's experiences. Jay went 3-1 and ended up getting to top 2, and Tyler went 1-3, and they got the exact same result every round, or they got the exact opposite result every round. So the one round that Jay lost, Tyler won.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was pretty big coincidence, but yeah, it was a really cool turnout, and had a pretty decent meta. Obviously, the most powerful ones were the Kasais. I think 2 of them got to top 4. 2, and by 2 I mean both.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah. So now I think the next thing that I would want to play is Ira, but Ira's probably going to be hitting the bricks sometime soon too. So
yeah.
Yep. If you got an Ira deck, you better play it now. Play it while you can.
Well, and even like Dorinthia is pretty high up too in terms of Living Legend points. I think she's second. I think it's like Ira then Dorinthia somehow. So yeah, it's like, oh well, maybe I'll go back to playing Hatchet Dorinthia. she's almost gone too.
Nah, play big axe Dorinthia, big old axe Dorinthia. That's what you do.
That's not the coward's play.
Yeah.
To be fair, like when I was in Whitney, one of the guys there who's a local to that shop, Nathan, his name is. He actually cashed at Worlds. I think he was 21st at Worlds. He was one of the guys I played against. I lost against him. He was playing Kasai on the skirmish night, at least. He went 21st at Worlds, which meant he got $2,000 for getting that far into the tournament.
Not bad.
And he was playing Decimator Axe Dory.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, so nobody would have prepped for that sort of matchup. You know, you go into that thinking, oh, okay, they've got Dorinthia, and then they reveal Decimator Great Axe, and you're just like, what the hell's going on here?
Hell yeah, let's go.
So I love those stories, like, you know, just weird decks that get far.
I love seeing the big axe Dorinthia, because I think I was the first or one of the first people to make a deck tech video for that archetype, and I love it. It's jank and awesome, and Decimator axe makes it a little bit better, because I was using the other axe before. I was using the axe from Dynasty, which
Merciless
Battle Axe.
One.
Yeah. But Decimator is much better. Yeah.
Oh god, yeah.
But, I think that's one of my favorite things about Flesh and Blood, just in general, is there is an actual real like benefit to playing a deck that either mind games your opponent or playing in a way that mind games your opponent. Like I think I was mentioning this in Barcelona when I was talking to Az, or I was at least talking about it very recently, but I'm absolutely convinced that that one Levia player that was playing, that had the paper mat and the like titanium baubles, and they were tracking their life totals with crayon. Something about that got them at least one win that day. Like just it put their opponent on edge. They were just like, I don't know what's happening, and that messed them up enough to be able to win. Obviously, the player was very talented and they knew what they were doing, but the mind games are important. I almost caused my Kasai opponent to misplay because they were so like all in on trying to figure out what my hand was and what my plays were and what I was setting up for. But I wasn't actually like, I was just head off it. Like I was just brain off at that point. I was already 1-2. I was 2-1, but my loss was so early that I wasn't top 4ing anyway. So I was just like, whatever. So I was just slamming down my hand every turn. I was just like, whatever. And he was like, why are you doing this? Like, what is your plan? What is happening? And I'm just like, I don't know, man. Like chaos.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, so playing off meta stuff, I think has a lot of the same effect. I think it can be very powerful to bring something that people are not anticipating, because it's not a matchup that they've practiced. It's not something where just off the top of their head, they know exactly what plays you're going for, or like how to play around certain things.
The chaos element as well. Like, yeah, exactly. The chaos element is just like, you know, you're attacking them relentlessly, even though to them, like value proposition, you probably shouldn't be, which then gets them thinking, oh, what's going on here? There must be an end game to this constant relentless attack, but there's not. And that gets inside their head. So yeah, it's definitely, I think mind games need to come into Flesh and Blood more. And I think they will do as the card pool expands. And we've spoke about this previously with, like, you know, you've got a hero in the format for so long. They get this axe, they get Dawnblade, they get sabers, they get all of these things that can open up to them, and eventually you'll have a lot of ways you can take certain heroes. Maybe not going forward because they're going to LL quicker now.
Well,
we discussed a couple of times.
You can have the opposite effect too. The heroes leaving the format and they take their weapons with them, right? So a good current example would be Kasai hitting Living Legend in Blitz, which means she's taking her sabers out with her, which means that Bolton could no longer run sabers in Blitz.
In Blitz, yeah, that's right.
So
that actually sucks. I forgot about that.
Yeah, which is actually kind of funny because the Centauri Sabers are getting reprinted in heavy hitters as like token rarity cards. I guess we can maybe talk about this later. We can talk about some of the heavy hitter spoilers because we actually haven't talked about two big things since the last podcast. Because you guys were in Barcelona, we haven't talked about who won Worlds, and we actually haven't talked about any of the heavy hitter stuff. So we haven't talked about Kasai or any of the heavy hitters cards yet. But by the way, Fi won Worlds. Alexandros won it on Fi, which is pretty cool in my opinion. I was rooting for Yuki, but Alexandros ended up beating Yuki round 1 of the top 8, and then continued to just smash face all the way through, which is it's cool.
That was the moment that Alexandros won was very cool to experience. We weren't actually there. I was hanging out sort of near this the stage where all the announcements were happening and whatever, like the professor's setup. And I was chatting with a couple of people from a couple of very, very nice people from Ireland that we hung out with for most of the weekend. And just we were chatting about whatever. And then all of a sudden, just this roar erupts from the other side of the hall. And we all three of us just sort of look up and we're like, well, somebody won. And we're like, we look over at the staging area where they have like a stream of it going on, and it's a little bit delayed. And we're like trying to make out who won, and we really couldn't. But then all of a sudden we start hearing this like chanting in Greek, and we're like, oh, okay.
It was like a football chant going on, like something you hear in like Premier League in the UK. And that's awesome. Well, when you were speaking to Othon, he was saying that the chant was like rude or something.
Yeah, it was. He said, "I'm not going to tell you what it was, but it was something very rude."
Really? Is Othon? I assume he's Greek then.
Yes.
Okay, cool. I wasn't sure of his nationality, but I was up till like 4 or 5 a.m. watching that because the Barcelona time to Portland, Oregon time, not great. So yeah, I was just lying in bed. Robin was asleep. Potato's asleep. I'm lying in bed with my phone with just the light, bathing my face, watching it at 4 a.m. Yeah, it was cool. It was a good match to see. I don't remember the name of the other finalists, but they were one of the players from the Blue Pitch team from where was it? Hong Kong.
Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, great moment, because obviously I think until that point, I think Alexandros had only won a PQ up until that point. So the fact that we didn't see the big names in the top 8 apart from Yuki. I think everybody else was fairly sort of.
I'd recognize a couple of the names, like the dudes from the US. Some of the the other person from Canada.
Aaron Chance was in there as well. Yeah, Canada.
But like
Canada.
Kenyatta from the distant land of Kenyatta. What I really like about that is actually really, really like this. So small tangent, but in a game like Flesh and Blood that is very, very like nuts and bolts, it can feel almost chess-like in nature, where you have like certain play patterns and there's only like certain permutations of things that can happen. Of course, it's a card game, so you have the random card draw element, unlike chess. But it did feel like, hey, maybe if you're good enough, you can win literally every single event.
Yeah.
But I like that it's not exactly like that. I like that other people can come in and win, and I think the top 8s for Worlds proves that. In a big degree, because there's a lot of faces that people wouldn't really talk about. In regards to like, best players in the world or whatever, and I think that's a really good thing. So maybe it's bad for the the pros who are like, oh, if I get good enough, I can sweep every event. Means it's going to be more like Magic. You're going to have to work hard for it, right? And it means that those repeat wins are going to be even more impressive. So,
and does it mean that the international stage, obviously with the USA and North America traveling over to Europe and losing time and jet lag and all this, does it mean that the soil that you're playing on and the time zone that you're operating in, does that make a difference?
Maybe.
In your testing and your sort of practice leading up to it? There's a lot of factors, and obviously I don't know where Worlds is going to be this year. I imagine You know, I'd love it to be APAC region, so it goes like round in circles like this.
APAC would be a lot closer for me, so that'd be cool.
Yeah, so again, that's going to be a lot of people traveling to that location. The people that suffer the most in that regard are the people from Europe and the UK, because they have to go this way, they have to go east, and therefore they're getting loads of east, so they're getting loads of jet lag and having to deal with that again.
I think if you're like a super serious pro player, then you probably help mitigate that. Yeah, exactly. You climatize, you get there early. So you don't have to deal with that.
I think a lot of people do, don't they? But yeah, I think that people get the Airbnbs and get the testing house going with the lads and all this, and make that experience out of it. But
like, it'll be interesting because like I'm very much planning to go to Japan next year. It's like 95% chance that I go to Japan. And it'll be interesting to see the difference, because it's just like, it's not that far away in the grand scheme of things for me, because I live on the West Coast. I live in Portland, Oregon. So for me to go to Japan, I think you just fly to Hawaii and then to Japan. It's like a long-ish flight, but it's not crazy long. It's not like going to the UK or something for me. So it'll be interesting to see that and to translate that, and you know, if they do an APAC region one for Flesh and Blood next year, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, I think flying west is always easier because you get there and it's actually earlier than when you left.
Well,
so you gain time, don't you? And then you have to stay up, basically.
Sort of. It depends on how far back you go, because if I go to New Zealand, it's like literally the next day, right? Because like New Zealand for me is 5 hours behind, but the next day ahead. That's how I know, because I hang out with folks from New Zealand a lot online. So it's like
true, yeah.
They're 5 hours behind, but also the next day. So I think that will mess me up a lot, like more than going to like Florida or something where they're like 3 or 4 hours ahead or whatever. Going to another day would be very disorienting.
Yeah. But well, just while we're on this thread, actually, so I'm going to America again next year. I'm going to the calling in Hartford, Connecticut. Apparently, you can get shot there fairly easily, but hey ho, we'll see what happens.
What a random thing to bring up. I always think it's really funny as someone from America to hear like people from other countries being like, you can get shot in America so easily, and I'm just like,
yeah.
I mean, welcome to America, my dude.
Welcome to America.
Well, everyone.
I'll
another small tangent. Connecticut, sure. I lived in Concord, California for several years. Not only that, I lived on Detroit Avenue in Concord, California. And I'm saying this specifically because if you are from Bay Area, California, you will know that Detroit Avenue in Concord has a reputation. You could definitely get shot. People like it. It's a thing. Like when it was mine and Robin's very first apartment together. And I came home from work multiple times with like half naked dude face down into the cement getting arrested by like 5 armed officers. I've seen some stuff. I've been around it, so that does not faze me. And then there's also like, then you go to places like Oakland and like, I've taken public transit in the area. So, the strategy, by the way, is to just be chill and blend in. If you're boring as hell, no one's going to mess with you. Just be the most boring person you could possibly be.
Anyway, but instead I'll just be like this, walking down the street with the camera like this, the vlog, doing the vlog like, I'm in Hartford, way.
Yeah, it's like Connecticut, whatever. I don't want to
exactly.
I just compare it to places like Oakland, and I'm just like, it could be as bad. I don't know. Maybe it's just like got a really bad crime streak, but
yeah, just while I was on the topic of flying around and doing this, that's I'm going to be going there for the calling. So it literally I'm only choosing that one because I haven't met all of the East Coast USA folks yet. So like Tommy Fresh and Patrick Shaw from the Combat Chain, Logan from Flesh and Pod. Jim is also over that sort of. Well, I think Jim said he's going to be able to fly into Hartford as well and actually get the connecting flight. So I'm flying into Washington, and Jim from FABTCG Cards is in Washington. So he said he might be able to get on that plane and fly into Hartford with me for however long we're going to be there for. So yeah, just wanted to go to East Coast-ish, maybe do like a little New York day trip or something while I'm there. We'll see. I think
the podcast will be like interesting that week, because I do believe that's the same weekend that I'm very likely going to be in Japan. So it's like
maybe so, it's the first week of Feb, perhaps.
Yeah, I will be in Japan maybe February 1st to some unknown date. I'm not sure how long I'm going to book it, but it's going to be around there.
So yeah, that'll be a strange time zone situation. Then we'll have to work that out on the fly.
Yeah, no, we could probably do it. I could probably. We'll see what I do. Yeah, I'm probably not going to bring my laptop, but
yeah, because me and Bill will basically be about a couple of hours apart while I'm in that area. Yeah, we can work out logistics as and when that happens. But just thought I'd bring it up. So any East Coast people that listen to this, if you're going to the calling in Hartford, I will be there. I don't know what the calling format's going to be, but it is Heavy Hitters release weekend. So Heavy Hitters comes out that weekend, which means that the hype's going to be through the roof for that set on that weekend. So we're going to be able to crack it. We're going to be able to draft it. We're going to be able to do the deathmatch arena or whatever it is. We're going to be able to do all of that weekend, which should be good.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can maybe get to Osaka and maybe see some of the Japanese folks from Osaka that weekend and play some
they'll be
heavy hitters.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's that. Other things before we get into the main topics, we have rambled a lot already today, which is great because there's only a few things on the list, which is good. I love it when this happens. I wanted to mention because you didn't in the content section part, Cal, but you did the off the grid intro recently.
I did, yeah. So I haven't released it yet, and I haven't really shared anything about it. But yeah. So if you don't know. We are doing another Flesh and Blood D&D campaign called Off the Grid. It is set in metrics and features myself as Bill and Max Ferocity, as well as our DM, Kale, that's some art. It's going to be really cool, and we are stepping up our game quite a bit this time in terms of like production value. And one of the coolest things, if you have watched our episode with Sam Yang, is that Sam basically drew what I'm going to call our key art for the campaign. He drew all of our characters, and they look so good. It looks so cool. Mm-hmm. You know what? I haven't shared it, the final, but if you give me a second, I can
That's what I was hoping you would do. Share it for the visual viewers, because
picture here.
All that texturing looks really nice now that he's textured it all on it just looks so nice. So people might have seen it before when he was doing the sketches live, but now it just looks epic. And Kale's also done like little character cards for each of us as well, and just the fact that how he's framed it all and put like level 6, how much life we've got and all this. You'll see that on the actual production, but it looks awesome. Yeah. Really, really. Just wanted to point that out because I think it's great.
It's very cool, and I'm going to try to like hype it up as much as I can because the first one, like our very first episode, got a decent amount of views, but that kind of petered off for episodes 2 and 3. And I want to really promote this because I think it is fantastic, and I think people who love Flesh and Blood and who love good stories and who love like tabletop RPGs would be very, very keen on this. So
absolutely, yeah, it's a niche within a niche, isn't it? It's Flesh and Blood RPG. It's going to be, people might sort of click it to begin with and be like, oh, what's this? Flesh and Blood RPG, blah blah blah. And then when they realize it's a campaign, maybe they can't listen to it or whatever. But the people that stuck around definitely did towards the end. So thank you very much for everybody who did. But you should definitely check this out because it was good fun. We had a lot of time doing it. And mine and Bill's characters from the previous campaign will be coming back. So the stories of those characters will continue. I love where Bill's is going because he's now got a bloody gauntlet of bone on his hand.
I mean, here, I have the picture up here. So you can see some character advancement here. So we have Anna with his like bone gauntlet thing. You can see Azra with his, for the lack of a better word, a flaming sword. And then you have two other characters, which we'll introduce them in the proper episode. But you could probably guess who is who, judging by how one of them is a mechnologist and the other one is not a mechnologist. So I think you could just, by virtue of
the deduction of Max Frosty being involved and who else has been involved, it's easy to tell who's who, isn't it? But yeah, just I can't wait to do that. Also, before we go on to some of the main points here, I want to also reiterate some content that I'm going to be doing on Go Again Gaming. So we've got the Flesh and Blood Worlds football match that's coming out on December the 3rd. So that's coming out the day after I spoil the Azalea specialization, which we all know is what the card is now, a legendary Azalea specialization. And that's on Saturday. So when you're hearing this, it'll be this weekend. And that's at 9:00 UK time. So definitely tune into that when you can. It's going to be a good one. And that's pretty much it for the content I wanted to mention before we move on to the main points, unless you've got anything else.
Nah. My Flesh and Blood content's about the same as always. It's going to be at least one Flesh and Blood video a week. And that's that. Yeah. The only thing I have planned outright is like I'm going to be doing like a channel update kind of thing, but that's just going to kind of reiterate that, for the Flesh and Blood side of things, at least, we're going to continue with at least one video a week for Flesh and Blood, plus any extras. If there's any news or any other things I want to talk about, I'm approaching like 500 Flesh and Blood videos on Red Zone Rogue. So it's difficult to talk about like generic topics for things that I haven't already covered before, because I've already done all the generic stuff, like how to build a deck, how much pitch value you put in, yada. I've already done all that stuff. I guess I could do updated versions, but yeah. So
yeah, as a creator, you don't want to be rehashing stuff, though, do you? It's just like it's not a good feeling when you're making something that you've already done a couple of times already. Like
there's that, but also like, if there's a reason to, I think you can. Like if there's like if you think you can do it better, or if there's new information or whatever. So, but yeah, my Flesh and Blood content going to be similar to how it's been. And then I'll talk about my other content in that channel update, which is different. That information will be different. So anyway.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Cool. So before we go on to like the Blitz and Living Legend stuff, I want to mention this new article. So this is LSS on the 24th took home the Excellence in Brand Storytelling Award at the New Zealand International Business Award, which recognises a business that excels in marketing themselves internationally and in so doing make New Zealand even more famous for great stuff. So, New Zealand is one of those places, you think of like the scenery from Lord of the Rings. You think of that sort of stuff, right? But you don't think of a game studio. You don't think of someone that's made their own IP, their own sort of brand, their own sort of thing, and they won an award for doing that. So I just wanted to shout that article out, because the fact that they came from, we've all heard the story about what James White had to sacrifice in order to get this game off the ground. So the fact that he's done that and it's all being recognised by the New Zealand International Awards here is fantastic. So I just wanted to shout that out. But yeah, I think their general message just speaks to a lot of us, doesn't it? Playing in Flesh and Blood through the common language of playing great games. It's just great how it unifies a lot of people, I think.
Yeah, in fact, here, I'm going to pull up this image here. Lots of just doing this stuff on the fly here.
Nice.
I have the image of James, Robbie, and MJ. What do I want to call this? All right, here, let me pull it up. I think it's really cool because, once again, I would like to... I say this often, actually, but it feels like... well, it doesn't feel like... James does get a lot of credit for a lot of this stuff, but I think all the credit isn't for James, is basically how I'm going to say this, because and I think he would agree too. It takes the whole team to do what they're doing, and I really feel like the entire Flesh and Blood team doesn't get enough credit, especially like the other two people here, Robbie Wen and MJ. Hold on, the image is not pulling up. So instead of getting the image, I'm just going to do window capture.
For the visual viewers out there, you're going to be able to see the picture. If you haven't seen the article already, that is. But James is holding this sort of ball. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the searing orb thing. I don't know. Yeah. All right, we're just going to window capture that. There you go. And then you can see all my tabs open. You can see I was looking at Fabruary and my Twitter. What else were you looking at? Channel dashboard, YouTube, Fabruary heavy hitter spoilers, and then my Twitter, which is where I'm pulling this image from. So anyway, I'm keeping it clean, all right, for now. But yeah, so here's the image. I'm making it real big, covering all of us. I'm not sure who two of these people are. Making what real big, Cal? Making what real big, eh? The image. I'm making the image. So for the audio-only people out there, there's an image of 5 people at the New Zealand International Business Awards 2023. I don't recognize 2 of the people in this photo, but in the middle you have James White holding like this orb. You have Robbie Wen to the right of him, like looking at the image, and then to the right of him you have MJ. And I really do think that Robbie and MJ don't get enough credit. If you don't know, we've talked about it many, many times, but Robbie is the co-founder of LSS. He is the creative director for the game. And then MJ also is one of the super early people, and she is responsible for like a lot of the creative side stuff as well, including the Flesh and Blood card back, almost all the frames, a lot of the early box designs, basically like a lot of the look of the game. So I just want to give a shout out to them because I don't think they get it enough. And when I saw this award, they definitely get enough. They definitely get it enough from this podcast. That's for sure. Yeah, man. Hey, I don't see it enough, and so I want to be the change that I want to see. And so yeah, absolutely, yeah. There you go. When I saw it on Twitter, I like retweeted it, and I was like made sure to congratulate James and the entire team, because they deserve it too. So yeah, good stuff all round. But yeah, so the main sort of mechanical news with regards to the actual gameplay itself is Living Legends. So Icelander Stormbind, Kano and Kasai Centauri Sellsword are the main things here. So Icelander rotated out, became Living Legend as a result of Get Out of Here Frostbite. It's funny as well because obviously she's out of here because of the World Championships, and I think it was the battle hardened Wallonia was the thing that pushed her over the edge. Yeah, I think so. Which was the one in I can't remember where Wallonia is. I don't know where it is. Can't remember where it is, but yeah. So Icelander's gone, and her signature weapon, the amazing Kraken's Aether Vein. Belgium. Wallonia's in Belgium. Belgium. Okay, nice. Thanks for confirming. Yeah. But yeah, just so you know, Icelander and the signature weapon, the amazing Kraken's Aether Vein, is no longer available for Classic Constructed.
Kraken's Aether Vein never got.
Yeah, exactly.
Never got its moment. I love that card, and I mean, right now Vinsets are playing. What is it? Rod of Ruin. That's the magic card. Rod of Ruin. Baguette de Ruin. But it is. Yeah, but yeah, they're playing that one, the one that gives a rune chant on damage, and it's the same kind of effect. It's something that taxes your opponent's hand or gets you something good, but I don't know. I think it was just because the Rod is 2 resources and Kraken's is 3. Like a little bit more flexible that way. Yeah, Kraken's is like it was one of those cards that was always like, oh, if we can find a way to pump up the damage of this thing, it would be great. Yeah, and draw that many cards.
It just never happened. It was always like, oh, when you play your next wizard action or whatever, it pumps up. It never pumped up like the weapon, and it was always like a little bit of a bummer.
Yeah, if you think about it, though, that would have been probably too powerful, right? If you were to buff it by even 2 damage, you pay 3 to then deal 3 and draw 3.
Yeah, but you just have to force him to prevent it then at that point. So it'd be yeah, it would just be like you have to prevent this, and then like getting up to like 4 damage would be where it's at. So you can like maybe breach over the AB, like because a lot of people run standard like AB3, and I don't know, but it just never did anything, which is a bummer. Maybe someday it'll be broken in like UPF, but for now. Yeah,
it'll be interesting. Because I think it's this year, which is going to be the all arcane stuff.
We don't know.
Yeah, I think
they haven't said. There's no confirmation on that.
Can you just can you imagine? And this is coming out of absolutely nowhere, but can you imagine if at some point there becomes a wizard that operates similar to Dory, that just has buffs for your wand, your staff?
Yeah, dude, that'd be cool.
And it'll be like. Yeah, your next staff activation deals 2 additional arcane damage or targets every hero or whatever. Like,
we got some of that kind of stuff with like the Alluvian Constellus, right?
Yeah,
and I was hoping to see more of that, but just I don't know. I mean, maybe when, like as mentioned, when we do see the ever elusive. I don't know if a lot of people have talked about it, but I've spoken about it before on my channel. The all arcane set. Maybe we'll see, because I do think. Yeah. I do think that'll be their opportunity to have the next Crack Shuffle play, and it will be in like the next All Arcane set, or the only All Arcane set, I should say.
Yeah, that could be a good way to put it. Yeah. But also, with regards to this,
okay,
I was going to say, another funny thing about this article is it says, with Icelander obviously attained Living Legend, the following cards will be removed from the classic constructed suspended list: Amulet of Ice and Hypothermia.
Yeah.
So they're back into the metagame now, despite the fact that there's no ice heroes available to play.
For now. For now. We all know Starvo 2 is coming in heavy hitters, and so Starvo 2 could use them all. Tuvo. Stu.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's a joke, by the way, for the folks who can't detect sarcasm. Mostly because I don't think we're getting Bravo in the set, and also there's not going to be any talents in the set. I'm like 99.99% certain there's no talents in the set. So
yeah. But what do we know? They could just come out with Icelander 2. Here we go, straight away. But yeah, no ice at the moment, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens going forward. I think there is a couple of.
She's going to become Draconic and become Firelander. She'll be
Firelander.
Yeah, she'll be Firelander, Flamelander.
Isn't that Spyro game?
I don't know. I have played. I did buy the Spyro remaster when it came out a few years ago. It was really good.
Skylander. Okay, no, that's the next one. She's going to grow wings and
Skylander.
Yeah, Skylander.
She'll become Lightning. She'll become Lightning instead. She'll go from Draconic, like Flamelander, and she'll be Fire, and then she'll become Lightning and become Skylander.
Oh God,
I love this. This is good.
I love how dumb
James
the
White,
name
take notes.
Skylander is, because it's like an oxymoron. Like Skylander. Yeah, so dumb. I love it.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, I hope that doesn't happen, because I really don't want Channel the Thunderstep back in the metagame, because that card is just so good. Not.
and then she can still have her ice powers and use Flash Freeze.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, dude.
You know what's
Flash Freeze?
I don't know if this is a controversial opinion or not, but since you mentioned Channel Thunderstep, comparing it to the power level of Channel Mount Heroic and Channel Lake Frigid, it could have given I think was it just actions or attack actions? I think it was
in general.
I think it was your just actions. You can pay 1 to give them go again. I think it could have given them go again, just blanket for free.
Chain did.
Yeah,
why not?
I think so.
Yeah, right. Like, I don't think that's more powerful than making your opponent's stuff cost 1 more, as long as it's like blanket, as long as it's out. I don't think that's inherently more powerful. It could be in some way.
When you compare it to something like Chain or Luminaris, Channel Thunderstep is quite hilarious.
Oh, atrocious.
Yeah. It's like for like Chain and Luminaris, it's like, oh, we just get it for free. Like we just get it for doing the things that we want to do anyway. Sure.
Luminaris is just pitch a card. Pitch one card and all of your stuff has go again.
Sure, why not? Oh, pitch like a, what do we want? A red? Nah, just pitch a yellow and then everything gets go again. Do we have to? Do you want to tax them? Make it cost one? Nah, just give it to him for free. No big deal.
Just
go again. Yeah.
Any card? Yeah. just no big deal.
So no, thank you for bringing that up, because that's a sore spot. I love the idea of Channel Thunderstep, but God, does it suck.
Especially like when you compare it to the other two as well. The other two don't cost you anything. When you play it, the static effect is then active, right? You don't have to pay an extra resource, give your attack +3 of the channel mount or anything.
Just get it.
Yeah, you just get it. Whereas this one, you have to pay one to give it go again, which makes no sense, really.
Yeah.
Again, Channel the Bleak Expanse, another channel card, which does the thing as if it's on. If it's on board, you can't draw cards, reveal cards, or search decks. You just can't do it.
You have Channel Lake Friendship, and then you have Channel Thunder Sadness.
That's right. Channel the Thundery Sadness.
Yeah.
Lake Friendship.
Yeah. So you never heard of Channel Lake Friendship?
We all just want to get along in this icy age. But yeah, just following on from Living Legends announcements, Kano was removed from Blitz alongside his Crucible of Aether Weave. So Crucible of Aether Weave is no longer there.
No wizards. No wizards in Blitz. If you play well, actually, that's not true. You can play
Emperor.
You can play the Emperor of Volcor, but you also have to be a warrior too. You can't just be a wizard. You also have to be a warrior, and you also have to have less life. So
honestly, right now though, Emperor seems to be in a pretty decent spot. Locally, Kaylee has been playing a lot of Emperor, and the deck kind of has legs. It's my
not
opinion.
bad. Yeah, I don't think the Emperor's
pretty good.
Not only that, I think Emperor can just goozle people because no one's going to be running Arcane Barrier, and so you can just Emperor on up and just clap them. Yeah.
Well, and the crazy thing is, especially with Tome now, Tome is just reads play Command and Conquer, just on its own.
Does it?
Because you play the Tome, you pitch the 2 cards, and then you pitch one of the remaining cards in your hand to Flamescale Furnace, which gives you 3 resources, which you activate the Emperor with, and you Command and Conquer.
I see.
Right. It just reads. It just reads play Command and Conquer on its own, which is really, really good.
Through Emperor's ability to go and search for one. Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
And then also you just have the ability to kill your opponent on their turn from 6 because you have Red Emeritus Scolding with Stormstriders. Yeah. So you beat them down with just effective 0 for 4s and Enlightened Strike and whatever. And then you just kind of wait until you get your Emeritus Scolding. And then if your opponent's at 6 or less, they probably don't have Arcane Barrier, like Kel said. So you're just like, okay, you die.
Yeah.
Nice. Yes, I guess
surprisingly effective.
Your 0 for 4 is Scar for Scar because you start on lesser life, right? I imagine. Yeah.
You can play Scar for Scar. You can play Snatch. You can just. I think even Kaylee's playing Wounding Blow, just 0 for 4 that blocks for 3. Like Welcome to Wraith Common or whatever. Because it's just another 0 for 4 red, and it blocks for 3, which Snatch doesn't, and it's good enough.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Deck is cool. Good.
My strategy against Emperor is just to kill him before he can kill me. That's basically what I do. I'm playing Lexi, by the way, but I'm just like pew,
that's Blitz. That's Blitz. Just kill him before he can kill me.
Yeah,
let's go fast, baby.
My old WoW arena strategy.
Yeah.
To say something no one understands. Beast Cleave. Does anyone know what Beast Cleave is? Shout out, comments on the down below if you know it. WoW 3s and 5s arena Beast Cleave.
Beast Cleave. Wow.
Yeah. It's like a deep cut. Savage. No one's gonna know. No one's gonna know.
Someone's got to know, and if you do, leave a comment section below, and then we'll give you something. I don't know what it's going to be, but we'll give you it.
I am a seasoned 1900 and 2000 ranked WoW arena player. That's like half joking. I mean, that's real, but it's like a half brag. It's not like super impressive, but it's better than Anyway, we're gonna move on. I never got duelist rank. All right, I never got duelist or gladiator. I'm a challenger rival level scrub. Anyway,
there we go. Someone's gonna know what that means. I swear to God, someone's gonna know what that means. I don't, but
I did play rogue. Anyway,
of course, you did.
Absolutely. Yeah, I just kidney shot him. Kidney him. Anyway.
But yeah, speaking of other living legends, we have Kasai's finally rotate out as well, which is good because it was a degenerate deck to play against in Blitz because she just does really, really optimal things, has a great late game with Blood on the Hands. You know, she's the only one that uses Minerva Tempsis, which is just ridiculous. Ridiculous card to have in your arsenal, just giving you all your sabers. Gives them all +1, doesn't it? And then if you keep hitting, you can then search for Blood on the Hands, which is just the late game you need to finish it off.
Yep.
And she has just, you know, equipment in Blitz is very important, and she just happens to have one of the best fridges available because of the Valiant Dynamos are basically just always online, giving you an extra block 1. It's just, very, very hard to really get through, as an Azalea player, get through that turn where you need an on-hit and they can just block with their fridge and not sacrifice any of their hand and then clap you back ridiculous amounts. It's just not fair, really. And it's hard to block effectively because they're a warrior, so they can just get you in the reaction step also.
Yep. They can just hit you with Iron Song responses or swing bigs on the second one. They still play the effective warrior buffs, so it can be pretty tough.
So we alluded to it earlier as well. The Centauri Saber will not be available for other heroes now because obviously it rotates out of Blitz. So Boltin is known to be using Centauri Sabers in his combo sort of strategy. I don't know how far that really goes in Blitz, but there might be room for him now that these degenerates are getting the fuck out of here.
Lumina can go Boomina, but now you have to use your hatchets if you wanna do the dual wield.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting. But it'd be nice to see what happens now with these decks as they're known to be out of there. It's going to be interesting to see what people pick up now as a result. I haven't watched it, but I saw DM Armada do a video on what you can maybe use to replace these heroes now that they've left, but I haven't watched it, so I wouldn't know what the suggestions are.
I think there's some pretty easy, clear-cut transitions. So if you're running
Kano,
you mentioned
Emperor, that makes sense.
Yeah, if you're running Kano, literally the only option for Wizard is Emperor. So if you want to play Wizard, you're playing Emperor. And then for Kasai, I think she translates very well into the classic battles Dorinthia. So you can do
Quicksilver Dorinthia is actually a pretty close option for warrior players. Deck actually kind of seems cool. I think in terms of power level, I very honestly think the Emperor does kind of have it going on currently. But Dorinthia Quicksilver.
To be honest, I'd rather play regular Dorinthia, but but still.
But if you want that sort of play style,
But nice. There's options. There's a lot of heroes in Blitz. There's more heroes in Blitz than in CC, so you have a lot of options, and we're gonna get more heroes. Presumably 6 more heroes with heavy hitters. Assuming you like Warrior, Guardian, and Brute, and one of which is the new Kasai, which is
I saw somebody point out on the info page for heavy hitters that all of them except for Kasai were question marks, and they were like, oh well, does that mean that we're not getting any reprints? I'm pretty sure for Outsiders they did the same thing. Even though we were getting 3 reprints, they didn't let us know about them until later.
Yeah, so
I seem to remember that.
We can talk about this a little bit because I think I've deduced some things. Okay, so in terms of reprints, I don't think we're going to get another Warrior reprint. I think we're going to get another new Warrior. Dorinthia might fit flavor wise here. Maybe she's traveling down there to get aid, but story wise at this moment in time, it doesn't make sense. She's defending Solana. They're getting wrecked by Shadow right now. So I don't know if we'll see Dorinthia there. I highly expect to see another new warrior. Hopefully, fingers crossed, a 2-handed focused warrior. In terms of Guardian, I think Guardian's another one that we can kind of easily determine if we're going to get a reprint, because one, I don't think Bravo is going to be there. First of all, for the same reason, I don't think Dorinthia is going to be there. Bravo is in Solana currently helping fight back the Shadow. Maybe this is like a time skip and they've come down and trying to recruit gladiators or something. I don't know. So maybe he could be there in that respect. We're definitely not getting Oldhim because there's no elemental talent in the set. But we could get Valda. I think Valda Brightaxe could possibly be a reprinted hero here, or maybe even a new version of Valda. And then in terms,
that could work as well.
Yeah,
that could work. I think
I can see Valda like jamming here. So I would like a new version of Valda, but getting a Valda reprint and then an adult version of her would be really cool. And then for brutes, I think either KO or Rhinar are both on the table to get reprinted here. My guess, if I had to put the chips down, my guess would be a new version of Rhinar, like Rhinar Deathmatch Champion or something like that. That would be my guess. But I saw a lot of people in the comments being like, "Oh, it's got to be KO for sure." But one interesting thing that they noted is that in the release notes for this and the little blurb, they said like there's like newcomers and then old, what did it say? Like old champions fighting to see if they still got it or something like that, or returning heroes to see if they still have it, something like that. And that doesn't sound like KO to me. That sounds like Rhinar to me. And people are like, "Oh, but Rhinar doesn't seem like he's the type to fight for money." And I was like, well, that's because not everyone in the deathmatch is fighting for the same reason. Like Kasai wants to raise money. I think Rhinar would be fighting in the deathmatch to prove that he's the strongest. He doesn't care about the money. He just cares about beating up everyone and winning and proving that he's the strongest. So I think Rhinar is a very good shot. So those are my, if I had to put my chips down and guess, I think Rhinar is the most likely to get a reprint. And then
that also makes sense. That also makes sense as to why other characters won't be in this setting, because it's an arena deathmatch. You know, you're not going to have Bravo be there, are you? You know, killing people for the sake of money. You know, you're not going to have Dorinthia there killing people for the sake of money. They need to have some sort of motive. Kasai's got one.
Like I said, the only motive I can see for Bravo and Dorinthia would be the same motive, and that is to get allies and or money to help fight against the monastery. And that's it. And I don't even know, like, timeline-wise, if it matches up, because they're currently, like I said, fighting back the Shadow in Solana, and because Solana just got absolutely wrecked. And the last time we saw Solana, Levia went absolute, like, balls to the wall, Plasma Fet, and started ripping up everything. And then we didn't have conclusion to that story. That's the last time we saw it. Plasma Fet's just, like, wrecking shit in Solana, and that's all we know.
That's all we know until the next Dusk Till Dawn related set, because it's 2 of 3, isn't it? Well, yeah, that's the second one of 3, isn't it? But yeah, so yeah, I don't know, where was we going with that? Where? Oh yeah, because of the 6 heroes, we don't know who they are. That's right.
I expect to see a lot of new heroes. Yeah, I'm not sure if we'll see many returning ones, and I kind of don't want to see a lot of returning ones. I want to see some new characters. Let's see some new characters, because we already have Kasai returning, and we'll probably have one of the brutes return. But let's get more new characters.
It's easy to assume that they're going to do the Outsiders thing and reprint heroes that we've had before, like Benji, Azalea, and Katsu were, just to fill in the draft sort of situation. But the fact that they've said returning heroes also could give us a hint as to we're going to get old characters but with different abilities, perhaps, and that would also attribute to the way they're accelerating everybody's living legend points, wanting to give people pools, especially with specializations. We know Azalea is going to get one. We know there's going to be other specializations being spawned.
ARAKNI got one. Yeah.
So if they're reprinting characters but with different names, it means that the fan favorite characters will stick around when the other one's LL, and you can move all those cards into this deck, but it works slightly differently.
That's actually a really good point. I didn't think about it in terms of that. When they said, "Hey, we're introducing like 20 whatever new heroes next year," that doesn't include like reprints. So I would assume that most of the heroes in these sets are going to be new versions of them to increase the potential hero pool, so that the current stuff doesn't LL. You know, well, I mean, it'll still LL faster, but we still have a larger card pool, is what I'm saying, a larger hero pool. So it would make sense for me that they focus more on new, mechanically unique heroes.
Yeah, and then you could still have, Rhinar Deathmatch Champion, but you could also have Rhinar Reckless Rampage. You could still have two versions of Rhinar, but so when the other Rhinar LLs, Rhinar stands, Savage Lands, mains, can still just move all their Rhinar cards to the other Rhinar, which exists in the same area. So you're still maintaining those people that, love the characters. Because we spoke about this before. It's just like, yeah, you can still have all of your Shadow Runeblade cards in Vincent, but what if you just love Chain for his aesthetic or his abilities? That doesn't translate to Vincent whatsoever. So I think they need to introduce heroes that sort of pull on the same string of what you're used to, perhaps, but just to a different way, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you're not losing all of your cards, not losing all of the reason you love the character or the class, basically.
Yeah, I mean, did we want to talk about the spoilers or save that for another episode? I know we kind of belabored like the assassin one, so here I can bring up.
Yeah, we can bring up though. I think there was a few that were spoiled. We can delve into. But yeah, next week we'll obviously have my one to speak about, and I'm not sure what else.
Oh, we have a ton. We have there's a good like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know, there's a good like 14, 15 cards to talk about. Like we haven't talked about.
Oh really?
Yeah.
We looked at the we spoke about the assassin ones briefly earlier, so I'll definitely want to mention those ones because those ones are really cool. The Arachni one's really good.
I mean, I think
both were recently spoiled.
I think both assassin cards are like quite good. Hold on, let me make sure I get the right.
Yeah.
The right image up here, but.
Yeah, we can speak about those. We can speak about those briefly.
So,
FabRay.net, awesome.
Yeah, I have it up already. I prepped it earlier, so people who have been watching the visual version saw me pull up cards earlier, and kind of get the regions ready just for this circumstance. But I think I might have resized the screen and looking at other things, and I have to fix it again. So. Let's fix it again.
But yeah, if anybody's got the cards there, feel free to read them out because I haven't got them on. I haven't got them.
No, I'll bring them up. I have it all up here. I'm just fixing the region on here. So the first card I want to talk about is Coercive Tendency. It's the new Arachni specialization. I think both of the assassin cards, by the way, are very, very cool and pretty good. So Coercive Tendency is, I think, like legitimately very, very good. And I even tweeted to Brian Gottlieb. I was like, it is a 0-cost blue pitch 3-block that supports contracts and gives go again, no notes. And then I did a picture of an Arachni dab from my Discord. Because I have some custom FAB emotes in my Discord, one of which is Arachni dabbing. So what it is, it's an assassin attack reaction, blocks 3, 0-cost, blue pitch. It is an Arachni specialization, notably not a legendary specialization, so you can have 2 of these in Blitz, 3 of them in CC. It says, look at the top 3 cards of the defending hero's deck, put them back in any order, then banish the top card of their deck. It also says, if you complete a contract this way, your assassin attacks get go again this combat chain. That's the entire chain, not the chain link. So as long as you don't break the chain, all of your assassin attacks will have go again. So what this does is it sets up your contracts because it lets you look at the top 3 cards, but then you all immediately get a banish one. And so if you already have assassin attacks on the combat chain, then you can fulfill potentially multiple contracts, right? So if you have something that cares about banishing attack action cards, and then something that cares about banishing red cards, if you banish a red attack action card, you fulfill both of those contracts, which is really, really cool. So
with contract, then you don't have to hit them. You just have to banish them.
You just have to banish it. Yep. It cares about the cards being banished. And so this could immediately fulfill contracts, which would then give them go again. So this is a good way to give a card go again. So this is potentially a 0 cost, get a silver, maybe multiple silvers, and get go again. That also is blue pitch and also blocks for 3. I think this card is legitimately really, really good, and it is exactly what Arachni needed, because Arachni really lacked go again, and it really focused on like having to hit with your assassin cards to fulfill your contracts and get that silver. And it could be you could get into a situation where it's just really difficult to amass that silver so you can buy back all your cool stuff. So I think this card's great. Oh, I didn't mention art by Mark Poole as well. So it's like this card is just hitting on all the levels. So yeah, very, very cool card. I think it's like really good, and I think it's like a must play for Arachni. And it's really nice for Arachni to finally get a specialization that like is good and playable and doesn't kill you. So yeah, I'm a big fan of this card. I think it's great. I might make my own video going over these at some point. Some people asked if I was going to do that. I might. I don't know. But yeah. And then we do have another assassin card. Unless you guys have any comments on coercive tendency.
What do you think, Bill? Do you think it's good?
I think it's good. I also think the most exciting thing about it is the amount of really intense discourse that's been going on about it, like online. I saw 2 threads be made, I think on the same day, saying just completely opposite ends of playability, being like, I think this card is absolutely unbelievably busted. And then somebody else starting a thread like, why I don't think this card is good at all. Like, wow. There's just been a lot of very intense discussion around it so far. And you know what? I think that that's really cool. I think that that's the sign of a well-designed card.
I think if someone thinks this card is actively bad, I think they're smoking something, because like
yes,
maybe if it was red, maybe if it only blocked for 2, but it is literally it's a 0 cost.
It's a blue
block 3, which is already like pretty good, but then also gives all of your assassin attacks go again on the combat chain, and also fulfills contracts. Unless you completely whiff, this card's really good. So
it's madness. I think what you get off of this card is absolute madness. I think it's really good. Even look at the top 3 cards of Defending Heroes deck. You get to banish one of those cards regardless of whether you get go again or not. So you could just take away one of their key cards, one of their key specializations, or whatever stuff you don't like to see being played against you. And as well as that, you get to look at the top 3 cards. They don't know what they're getting, but you do. So you know what their next crackback turn's going to be. So you can prep for that. You know, you can work out what that value is. You know, if you're trying to, count up all the value points and all of this, which I definitely don't do, but I know a lot of people will do. You get so much information out of this, and you can extend your own turn with it. At the very worst, it creates a turn where you get 3 resources or you block for 3. It's just madness, in my opinion.
I don't think it's busted either. I think it's probably somewhere in between. I think it is a how do you want to put this? I think it's just an Arachni staple card. I think if you're running if you're running Arachni, you play this card.
Yeah, it's just like a foundation piece of building a deck. Because we've said it before about so many different cards, but blue block 3s are really good.
Pretty good. Yeah.
Especially if they have a good effect as well, that helps. But blue block 3s are really good.
Yeah, exactly. It fuels your deck. It's a foundation for your deck. But if you want to play it when you can have access to, when you've got the tempo or whatever, when you actually play this or have the ability to play this, costs nothing to play, you get so much more out of it, which can which you need as an Arachni player. You need that extra bit of gas, and this is what it gives you. But the bare minimum, it's the resources and the block.
Anytime I hear like discourse like this, like I always think of when Crown of Providence was spoiled, and I literally got multiple people saying they thought it was way worse than Arcanite Skullcap, and they're like, it's not going to see play worse than Arcanite Skullcap, and I was like, all right, sure, whatever. I think it's better, and it turns out, oh yes, it is. It was quite a bit better.
Very good.
I don't know if I don't think this card's busted, but it's definitely not like bad any stretch. This is literally, if you play Arachni, this is like everything Arachni wants to do. And even if you're going for like a fatigue strategy, this fits in the fatigue strategy because you mill them, like you get guaranteed mill, and then it also is a blue block 3. Anyway, so the next card I think is awesome. I want to play this in maybe Azuri. This is Graven Call. This is a new assassin dagger weapon. It's very similar to the other dagger weapons, but there's one key difference here, which I think is pretty cool. So this is a once per turn action for 2 resources, attack, and has go again. Attacks for 1, has piercing 1, and then it has an instant effect. Not an on-hit effect like the others do. This is an instant effect. Destroy 2 silver you control. Equip this with a +1 damage counter. Activate this ability only while this is in your graveyard. This card is so cool because it synergizes with Flick Knives. So you can flick your knives and then get them back. And then it gets buffed up. Now it's a 2 attack. I think this dagger's awesome. I want a cold foil one of these just to have in my assassin suite. And if I'm running Flick Knives, I want to play this card. And if you're playing Arachni, I think the new coercive tendency is going to help you get silver a lot easier. And so being able to buy back cards like the Graven Call are just going to be like a little bit easier. So I think this dagger's like super cool. I like it a lot. Yeah. What do you guys think?
No, it's very good.
Cool.
Yeah, I think it's good. One important point to note as well that I saw people talking about when it was revealed is the fact that it gets a +1 attack counter does not interact with Flick Knives. Because the damage that is dealt off of Flick Knives is the damage that Flick Knives does, which is 1 at all times.
Yeah. Flick Knives doesn't care what your dagger's doing. Flick Knives only does what it says it does. If your dagger had 0 attack, it would still do 1. Yeah. I mean...
Yeah, so... Otherwise, I think it's really cool. I love all of the assassin cards that you can just go back to the store and buy more. Basically, that gameplay loop. I think that's really cool.
Now you can do it all. You can do every single equipment piece and weapon piece now. Can be bought back now, which is cool. Yeah.
I just realised as well, obviously with Arachni, whenever you play a card of contract, you get to look at the top card, don't you, of the opposing hero's deck?
Yeah. So you can technically like dig 4 then, because you can put that card on the bottom and then look at the top 3 with coercive.
With the coercive, yeah. So it's ridiculous. So you could even look at more than that, because if you have multiple contract attacks as a result of coercive tendency, you could even look at 5 cards and then dig for the one you want to banish, whether it's a contract card or not. You just want to get rid of their key pieces, etc. I think I mentioned it earlier, but I think the information that you can get as Arachni, especially with this new edition, I think is a great way that Assassin should go, is like just being able to play mind games with your opponent because you know what they have before they do. I think that's great flavor. I think that's great flavor. So yeah, really, really, really interested. And obviously these 2 spoiler cards, which were spoiled by Dice Commando and TCG Talk, made me buy a box of Outsiders because I wanted to crack some cool assassin stuff, and I got absolutely nothing.
If you want to play Arachni, y'all should go buy Dynasty. Outsiders has all the Uzuri stuff. Arachni is in Outsiders. I mean,
of course, Dynasty. Yeah, it is. That's right. Yeah. Whoops! I made the wrong purchase. Damn it.
I mean, to be fair too, Dynasty also has like some of the most staple assassin cards, and that are the main contract cards. So there's surgical extraction, all that kind of good stuff. Though surgical did get a reprint in Dust Till Dawn, so hey, you might open up a surgical and dust in your Dust Till Dawn packs.
I completely forgot that Arachni was Dynasty and Uzuri was Outsiders. I should have bought a Dynasty box then.
Yeah,
which would have been cheaper for sure. because
I mean, there are some good outsiders cards for Assassin. I mean, there's a lot of really good ones, but there's like the Codices. There's
yeah.
I'm not sure if ARAKNI runs it, but there's like stuff like Plague Hive, and yeah, there's some cool stuff in there. But did we want to mention any of the other spoilers, or save that for another episode? Because there's a bunch, including like the new Kasai.
I think we could probably give that its own video, hey? Like, just to give them a little bit more time in the sun.
Yeah, definitely.
And we're gonna have Azas to talk about too. So
yeah, I do want to mention. There's the new Kasai, which is very cool. But there's also this card, Bloodied Oval. And I do want to mention that now warriors have a shield if they want it. Because Bloodied Oval is a generic offhand. In fact, any character can use this shield. So there's that. Bloodied Oval, by the way, is a part of a cycle. They're generic equipment. They're all commons. They all have Blade Break, and they all have the same effect. They have a defense value equal to the number of opposing heroes with greater health than you. So they're really good for UPF. So if you're playing in a UPF game with 4 people and all 3 opponents have greater health than you, then this blocks for 3. In a 1v1 situation, it's not that great. But you know, and
that's cool, because obviously if you're on lesser life, you know, it obviously incentivizes the people that are to your left and to your right not to attack you and gang up on you because you've got lesser life, because you can just block for days because you've got loads of armor with this. So yeah, I guess that could also be used as what's the point in attacking me? I can block for 12 because I'm on low life. You know, what's the point in attacking me? Attack them instead.
What I really like about the Oval, though, especially in UPF, is since it's generic, if you play a class that has any one-handed weapon, you can just have this as part of like your inventory. And if you go up against a game and you're like, oh, everyone's like physical Chunguses, and you're like, okay, I'll just bring in my Oval. Like, I might actually have this in my like Assassin deck, just like being like, oh, instead of like Arcane Lantern, because I do have Arcane Lantern in my Assassin deck too, I'll bring in Bloodied Oval so I can have more block value. I don't know. It's cool.
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, easily.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. But yeah, there's going to be loads of new cards coming out. But the ones that are due very, very soon are, I believe, just going to be specialization cards, or stuff that are sort of tailored to that.
Okay.
Yeah, because we got Pheno, who is known to do a lot of Prism stuff.
Yeah.
So I think he's confirmed that he's doing a Prism card, right? I think so, maybe.
He mentioned something on, I think it was I saw a couple of things on Discord of him saying like, maybe don't brew with Prism for now. I think also mentioned that James White specifically like told him that his card was the sauce. So maybe not those exact words, but similar.
Here's the schedule, by the way, everyone. Pulling it up. By the time this comes out, some of this, well, no, the stuff's still going to happen. So we have Saturday, December 2nd, Go Again Gaming. I don't know who that guy is. And just some...
some rubbish creator.
Some mullet guy, I don't know. And then Pheno Black, December 9th, which is a little bit a week after that. And then about a week after that, we have Breezy, who's probably going to be revealing...
Moonblade.
Probably going to be revealing like a Viscerai or something. Viscerai specialization. These are all expansion slot cards for sure. Not necessarily specializations, because we saw that dagger, and the dagger is not a specialization, but definitely all expansion slot cards for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting as well, because obviously on Friday the 24th, we had both of those cards come out from Dice Commando and TCG that were both assassins. And then we've got Saturday the 2nd, which is Ranger, obviously, Illusionist, and then potentially Runeblade, but nothing else confirmed as of yet. So I don't know. I don't know what the rest of the expansion slots are going to be in that case.
Yeah, probably just going to slow roll them out. I will say that I have not been contacted for spoilers, so I'm probably not going to be doing one of these things. But yeah.
But yeah. Mine's fucking quality, by the way. So I'll spoil a little thing. So there's going to be another skit involving me and Jim.
Yeah, Jim did message me. Yeah, we have like this little chat, and he's like, "Oh, Az and I did another skit," and I was like, "Oh, cool, looking forward to it."
So that's going to be that's quite funny.
Eventually, man, you're just gonna form a sitcom with you and him. It's just gonna be like the Azalea Cult.
It's just funny because it's the same structure as we had before, where Jim rings me and it's different time zone because obviously he's in Washington and I'm in the UK. But this time it's a bit stranger with regards to the time zone and what we're doing at that.
As is like buck ass naked in the shower, pulls takes the phone, just holds it in the shower like with all the water. Hey, what's up,
dude? Do you know you're video calling me right now and I can see your schlong? Oh, sorry, Jim.
Oh, sorry. Let me angle it up a little bit.
Oh, sorry. Let me just hold that up. Hello. What do you need? That's a good idea, but that's not what we're going to be doing.
Just holding your phone like so.
Yeah.
Full display. Anyway,
you can see like the blurred sort of video effect that they use.
Oh my.
Oh God. But
all right. Well then, I mean, that seems like a good spot to jump into the Arsenal step, I think.
Wow, absolutely, yeah. Jump into the arse.
I will say though, yeah, we will likely do another episode talking about all of the spoilers so far. Possibly the next episode. Maybe we'll just talk about them all in a little bit more detail because there's some cool stuff to be spoken about. Like I said, including the new Kasai, which I think is interesting.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you did a video on it yourself, didn't you, when it was revealed? So I think you spoke about it there. But yeah, I can't wait to see. Again, these are really early, these spoilers. So I don't know whether we're going to see anything else in relation to the set until later on. Because
the spoiler season is like January. I don't know. It's like late mid-January, like 17th or something like that.
Yeah.
So
I don't know how much we're going to get between now and then, but there was a fair bit of rambling on today's episode. So I reckon we could probably just move into the Arsenal now, as you said before. But I want to actually shout out the Living Legends podcast at gmail.com to forward in your stories, comments, and questions, because we do actually have one in here this time, which was meant to address a while ago, but I forgot. So we're gonna do it now. And this is from Aaron Nash. Good name, by the way. Aaron's a good name. That's actually what my name is in real life. It's not Az.
He's lying. He's just making that
Aaron
up. His real name. His real name is Az.
That's right. But Aaron Nash says, "Hey all, I've been listening, enjoying your podcast for a while, and I thought it would be finally time to send some mail. I was curious on what your thoughts would be for this type of hero in the future of Flesh and Blood. I'd love to see someone that really operates with tokens more. Keep grinding out there." From Aaron. So I think we've mentioned this before on the podcast, but heroes that create their own tokens, or maybe it's just a random idea I had, I don't remember. But this is a card called Felic the Defiled, and the art is the art from if it Infectious Host, maybe. I think the art is from. It's like the guy that's got holding his head like this. He's got boils all over him. From Outsiders. I think it's called Infectious Host. It's an assassin hero with 4 intellect and 14 health, young hero. And it says, anytime an attack you control hits, create a blood rot pox under their control and your control. So you put a token under their control, token under your control. And it says blood rot pox tokens you control deal 1 less damage to you. So you're spreading out tokens to your opponent, and yourself, but you take less damage from them. Is the card that they've actually designed and attached to the email here. But I think it's a cool little idea. I think heroes that have maybe their own sort of tokens that they generate and maybe give to other people and stuff could be a nice little design space without actually designing cards. You could design things on the hero that then stick around. I had this idea when I was doing the Azalea Cult create your own card competition a while ago with like a bleeding shot. So if you get hit by a bleeding shot, you create like a hemorrhage token that you then can't get rid of for the rest of the game, and it bleeds you for the rest of the game. So these things that sort of create these tokens or game states that affect you for the rest of the game will incentivize more blocking as well, because it's not actually on a card, it's on the hero. So if you hit, well, this hemorrhage shot was on a card, of course, but more long-standing token-based effects could incentivize more interaction, especially when there's no ice anymore. It's just going to be no blocks the game going forward, maybe. Pure aggro, but we'll see. But yeah, cool little card. What do you think of the design? What do you think of tokens? What do you think of that sort of thing going forward?
I like that design much more than somewhat like another hero popping out like ally tokens. I like the non-ally token stuff, because we'll talk about this in the next episode when we talk about Kasai. But her new specialization makes allies, and I was like, I'm not sure how I feel about that. I don't know if I want warriors to also make allies, in addition to like Runeblades making allies and Illusionists making allies. And at some point, it's just going to be Magic the Gathering where everyone has allies.
That is a very good topic for next time. Yeah, definitely. Because I have strong feelings on that as well. But
I do like non-ally token stuff. I think that could be really cool. I think the one that I've thought about, and I've thought about this for a long time, is the Alchemist. I was like, how could the Alchemist work? And I was like, maybe they make potion tokens that like do various effects or whatever, and I think stuff like that could be really cool. So yeah, I like it. I think it's interesting for sure.
Yeah,
I think a necromancer could also be a token maker, not necessarily an ally token maker, but they could make like curses on your opponent to give them debuffs and that kind of stuff. I think that could be cool too. So
yeah, what was you gonna say, Bill? Was you gonna say something?
I was going to say that I actually do like the design of it, especially because of just how it interacts with the card art that they chose. Obviously, that was probably like the idea, but the fact that it gives you a blood rot pox means that when you attack with the infectious host, you create another blood rot pox just on attack, and then if that hits, they get a second blood rot pox like that. I think that's really cool.
The actual card synergizes with the hero that they've put on the hero art of their card.
Yeah, again, that's definitely like intentional, but I do like that. Like you attack with something like a Scar for a Scar because you have 14 health. You attack with a Scar for a Scar, your opponent bleeds 1 damage through, gets a blood rot pox, and so do you. And then you attack with infectious host, you just immediately give your opponent another blood rot pox, and then if they block it, or if it hits,
they'll get another one. And you get another one.
Then they get a third one, and that's 3 blood rot pox for 2 cards. And technically, you've presented, if they get the poxes as well, that's 14 damage over 2 cards.
Yeah.
Obviously, they can still pay for it, but I think that is a pretty interesting hero. It's just that 0 for 4s are really, really effective in this deck.
I mean,
yeah,
I don't know if it's any more broken than like Channel Mountain Heroic stuff, you know?
Oh no, yeah,
exactly, yeah.
It's not.
Yeah,
but yeah, like
cool.
the just 0 for 4s with Go again are quite good in this deck.
I think,
which I don't think is necessarily bad.
I appreciate them overly balancing the hero, because 14 health is like abysmally low. Like
it is extremely low.
You're gonna get killed, bro. Like you're just gonna die in blitz. You're gonna die.
Your opponent just goes turn 1 pulverize. This is lethal.
Turn 1 pulverize dominate. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Oh. I'll attack you with like 28 odd damage with my Lexi turn. Like good luck, dude. Ugh. I drew into Rain Razors and 3 of a kind. Let's see what you got. And you're running all these 0 for 4 2 blocks. You can get wrecked. Anyway, I do like that. Like they thought about it and they're like, let's give him 14 health.
But it's cool as well because it opens up this whole other thing as well. Like you could punish, you could if you're like a bloater, for instance, from Left 4 Dead, when you attack it, it blows up, it spreads this gas, right? So you could actually prevent people from attacking you because if they like, for instance, there was a hero that says whenever you get hit, you give them a blood rot instead. So, you're actually just disincentivizing the opponent attacking you because they're going to take damage back by attacking you. So that could also be another thing as well that, there's loads of design space. I'm sure Brian's thought about all these ideas already.
What I'm sure he hasn't thought about is exactly what you said. A bloater hero, so basically Riptide 2. And when he dies, all heroes adjacent to him take damage equal to the life that he had at the start of the turn. So he explodes. Yeah. He explodes and deals damage to other heroes. Obviously, this would be for UPF, but I think that'd be hilarious.
Brilliant. Yeah.
So like, you actively don't want to kill him because he could blow up and kill you.
Don't attack him. No, he's going to get off at any moment.
The only hero with the 75% draw rate because he just takes your opponent with him.
Yeah. Brilliant. But Living Legends Podcast at gmail.com.
The joke, by the way, was that the design was so bad that Brian Gottlieb would not have thought about it. That was anyway.
Yeah. But,
sorry to cut you off.
Yes, that's all right. No, send us in your wacky heroes and your suggestions, comments, stories, questions, whatever you have. Living Leg Ends Podcast at gmail.com. Mm-hmm. Send them in there. But apart from that, we can move into the Arsenal step and close it off for today because we have done quite a long one today, which is nice, mm-hmm. despite the fact that we only had a few things, or I only had a few things. But what's everyone been doing outside of Flesh and Blood? Anyone got any stuff going on?
I have some quick stuff. I can just rapid fire, because I don't want to spend too much time on it. Let's grab the other card game stuff. So I've been supporting Alpha Clash, which is a superhero card game. They recently sent me like a care package of their new set. I have a bunch of boxes and stuff. Probably going to stream opening this and looking at all this stuff this weekend. I spoiled one of the main heroes for the set, War, which is the Spartan-looking dude. So yeah, cool. Going to be doing some Alpha Clash stuff. Also, my good buddy Ian Kenderdine sent me a card game that he's actually been a part of before called Super Show, which is a indie wrestling card game. He sent me the starter deck of El Super Hombre, the Super Show card game with Snake Pit. And then he also sent me some like little bonus cards with it, including a hero. I don't know if they're called heroes. A wrestler that very much is obvious why he sent it to me. Her name is White Lily, and she's like a blue or silver haired,
nice,
like ninja girl. And I'm like, yeah, that tracks.
Yeah, it's me.
And then for card games, one of the card stores that I buy from frequently these days is called 50 Cards. They're a YouTuber. They do like Card Fight Vanguard stuff, but I've been buying from them because they have really, really good deals on Shadowverse Evolve. And Shadowverse Evolve I absolutely love. But for Black Friday, they had an insane deal on tons of Vanguard stuff. They had Vanguard boxes for like $6, like booster boxes for like $6. Some of them for like $7. They had all of the starter decks for like $8. Like not each, all of them, all 5 of them for $8. And so I just bought like a bunch of Vanguard stuff. And so I'm going to be doing a Card Fight Vanguard video or stream at some point, checking out the game, because I was able to buy like 20 boxes for like less than $200. And a bunch of other stuff. So like an insane amount of Vanguard stuff. This is some of the Vanguard stuff that I currently have, but
is it a dead game or is it still going?
No. Card Fight Vanguard's like really popular. It's just one of those things where like, as all card games, and people can even attest for this in regards to Flesh and Blood, it all depends on your area, right? Some areas, anime card games like Vanguard and Weiss Schwartz do way better, and some areas, more Western card games like Magic and Flesh and Blood do way, way better. It's all very regional based. A lot of folks like to call it like you'll say they have like a Bushi hub, which means like a hub of people like just played Bushi Road games, like Weiss and Card Fight Vanguard. So yeah, Vanguard's quite popular. And to be quite frank, in terms of like YouTube viewership, Vanguard is still in way, way, way more popular than Flesh and Blood by a drastic degree. So, yeah. So there's that. And then to cap it off before I pass off the baton is I've just been playing some video games that are really fun and cool. So I've been playing Wild Hearts. Most of the stuff I bought on Black Friday sales. So Wild Hearts, which is a Monster Hunter-like game made by the people who did Dynasty Warriors. It's awesome. It's rad as hell. Very fun. Highly recommend if you like Monster Hunter style games.
Was it Koei or is it Omega Force? Do you know?
I don't remember. I can look it up. Wild Hearts. It is.
Surprised I haven't heard it. I haven't heard of that game.
Really?
So it was Dynasty Warriors.
It's published by Electronic Arts, Koei Tecmo, and Omega Force.
Oh, Koei, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yep. Very good.
Interesting.
Cool art style. It's like medieval Japanese type of setting, but you have like these what I call Fortnite powers, where you can just build stuff out of nowhere. It's called kamakuri, and you can just like build like stuff and like build like a big old hammer that whomps the monster, or build like a little turret or like a wall so it can block their charge. Really fun. Highly recommended. I've been having a blast playing it. And then I've been playing some more fighting games. I picked up some fighting games on sale. So I've been playing Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle. I'm a big fan of Blaze Blue in general. And I've never played the Cross Tag Battle. So I've been playing Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle. It has like Blaze Blue characters, but it also has like Persona characters in it. It has Ruby characters in it. Cool fighting game. And then I recently picked back up. I did not buy this. I've had this for a while. DNF Duel. Dungeon Fighter Duel. Great fighting game. Pretty newcomer friendly. And they have a new character, sort of new character called the Spectre, who's like this cool assassin lady with like sunglasses and stuff. She's awesome. And I bought her on the Black Friday sale. So I've been doing that. Fighting games, Monster Hunter, and then all those new card game stuff that I'll be talking about. So that's my arsenal step. I've been doing a lot more of that stuff recently than Flesh and Blood. Flesh and Blood has just kind of been like a little constant, sailing down the river kind of deal.
Yeah, it's just how it is, though, isn't it? Every now and again, just have to do other things as well. It's important to do that.
Missing out on Worlds and then simultaneously like not going to the invitational thing is like a double whammy for me, where I'm just like, I'm gonna take a look at some other stuff while I'm not doing anything with Flesh and Blood, I guess, other than like normal things. So anyway, what about you guys?
I have been just watching more movies recently. I used to watch a ton of movies and just sort of stopped being a thing. But I think I mentioned this a little while ago. A friend of mine and I put together a list of movies that we either like haven't seen that we want to see, or that we've already seen that the other person might not have seen, or movies that both of us have seen that we just really want to watch again. And it's like a 6-page document of all of these movies that we want to watch. And we've just been kind of going through those. We're basically right now we're rewatching Saw, like just the entire series. We've only done Saw 1, 2, and then we also watched Saw X. I think I mentioned this one because this was a while ago, but Saw X is maybe the best one of them. It is incredibly good. And the more I think about it, like as I've watched it and whatever, I think it is the best one. It was, and I think even on Rotten Tomatoes, it has like an 86% or something. Like it is like acclaimed with how good it is. But yeah, the rest of them are not quite as good. There's the original trilogy. The first 3 are actually like pretty decent. I liked some amount of Saw 4. There are some fans who are partial to Saw 6. Every other one is garbage. And there's still a lot more than the ones that I mentioned, which is the bad part.
I don't know if it made it to air, but I've met the director of photography for at least the first X Saws. I don't know if he did more. His name is David Armstrong. He's the guy who like set up all the scenes for like the first few Saw movies. He talked about it. It was really cool. I met him in college because I have a degree in film. He's one of the people who just came by and then spoke to people if he wanted to go do his thing. And then I stayed afterwards and I chatted with him like one-on-one, like afterwards, just kind of like, hey dude, blah, 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 blah. Cool guy. Really, really chill dude. I'm a little harsher than Bill though. I wanted to preface that by saying I've met people who've worked on these movies. I like the Saw films, but I'm harsher than that. I'm like, I think Saw 1 and 2 are good, and then like the short film that Saw 1 was based off of,
the original like the spec script one,
very very good, and then after that I'm like, I don't know. It feels like they start getting copium levels of like, it's good, please, trust me. I haven't seen X.
No,
though.
I
haven't seen X yet, so I'll say that.
No, legitimately, as somebody who has seen every single Saw movie and has very strong opinions, like Saw 1 and 2, really, really good.
I think they're great.
Half of Saw 3 is honestly pretty good. The entire, like, the guy going through the thing, the side story about John Kramer dying, you can throw that away. That part of the movie sucks.
Yeah.
I remember liking Saw 4, but I don't remember why I liked Saw 4. So it's probably not even that good. And then, yeah, I think I disagree with the other people saying that Saw 6 is good. I think for me, it's like 1, 2, half of 3, and X are like the only ones worth watching.
I think, I don't want to talk about this too much because I think I can make a whole podcast talking about this, but I think you can definitely extrapolate what you like and then what you think is objectively good. And I don't give anyone any fault for liking anything. If you're into it, that's awesome. I like movies. I genuinely love movies that I think are trash. So like, I'll also just say that, for example, for example, the Underworld movies. I love the Underworld movies.
Oh my God. Yeah.
They're garbage, but I absolutely love them. So I preface that when I say I think a lot of the Saw movies are pretty terrible. But I still like them.
Yeah. But I still watched all of them. There was only one of them that I was really upset about, and I'm pretty sure it was Saw 3D.
I was going to say, is it 3D? Yeah.
Oh,
that movie was so irredeemably bad.
I felt like they tried to like leverage the 3D gimmick too much, and I don't know, man.
Yeah, it was awful.
Anyway.
Jeez.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's what I've been up to. I've just been watching a bunch of movies. I introduced this same friend to playing Flesh and Blood, and they really liked Dorinthia. So.
Ooh. Good choice.
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
What's the best movie that you saw recently? Pun intended.
Actually, yesterday, it wasn't with this friend. It was actually with my girlfriend, Riley. We watched a movie on Amazon Prime called Meet Cute with Pete Davidson and Kaylee Cuoco. It's like a Groundhog Day-esque, like kind of rom-com that actually got like surprisingly like, I don't know, emotional in like really interesting ways. It was like surprisingly good. I was expecting it to be like pretty good. One of my friends actually recommended it to me because they went on this huge Groundhog Day-esque kick where they watched every single movie about like repeating the same day over and over again. And this was their biggest recommendation. This was like, honestly, I think that this movie is the best non-Groundhog Day movie.
I was gonna say, streamer, don't you mean a Happy Death Day like?
No. Okay. Also, to be fair, Happy Death Day bangs. That movie's really good.
It is. Yeah. So I mean, like, there's a reason I brought it up. Yeah, because we were talking about Saw, Groundhog Day, Happy Death Day is kind of like in between there. Yeah.
Yeah. But in terms of like recent movies, that one, I think my favorite movie that I saw last year was The Menu. Like,
oh, okay.
Bar none, I think that movie was incredible. And then, so my recommendations for movies right now, like off the top of my head, are Meet Cute on Amazon Prime, The Menu, and Saw X. Saw X is for a specific type of person, obviously, but if you like the Saw movies, Saw X is, I truly believe, to be the best one.
Really? You think it's better than Saw 1?
I really like Saw 1. Saw 1 is a movie that I have shown every single person in my life at least one time. But I think that in terms of just like quality of traps, character development, the fact that the characters feel like people and they get back to the actual plot line of like John Kramer is not a good person, but he has his own set of morals up top. Like he has a code that he lives by. He is still a villain, but he's cohesive.
Does it have any of those like lame ass like late series traps where they're like you can't actually escape from them? Like
it's just a murder. It's just a murder.
I hate those ones, man.
It's just a murder.
Yeah, it's just like it just kills him anyway. It's just like, all right, well.
But then, of course, there's the one line in, I think it's Saw 6, where John Kramer says to Detective Hopman, "Killing is distasteful," and he says it exactly like that. Like, you can look up a clip. That's what he says. Anyway, so. Those would be my recommendations for anybody looking for a cool movie night. Meet Cute, probably the best one for like a cute movie night. Nice. It was very nice.
I've never heard of that, so yeah, it's a cool recommendation.
Yeah, recommended.
Nice.
But yeah, that's me.
Cool. I'll wrap it up fairly quickly then. With regards to films, there is a film I want to go see in the cinema called Napoleon at the moment, starring Joaquin Phoenix. and it's directed by Ridley Scott, who did Gladiator, as well as one of my favourite films of all time, which I think is really very underrated, especially the director's cut, and that's Kingdom of Heaven.
Oh, I was gonna guess if it was Master and Commander. Kingdom of Heaven is really fun. We actually watched it in high school when we were learning about like the middle era, like Crusade era.
Yeah,
and we actually just watched it in class. It was awesome.
Oh, it's amazing.
It has it has what's his face in it.
Edward Norton
or Orlando Bloom.
Yeah, he has Orlando Bloom in it, and he has Edward Norton.
Turner.
Yeah.
It's really good. There's a load of stars in it. It's it's pure diverse cast. It's brilliant. It's really good.
It's a fun movie. Yeah, if you like medieval stuff, I like it. It's pretty good. It's kind of long, if I remember.
It is. Yeah, the director's cut is the longer one, but it is the definitive way to watch it as well. There's a lot of stuff in there which fills in gaps, and unfortunately, that's what happens to these sort of sword and sandal-esque epics. The sort of studios will cut out a lot of the stuff which actually is needed to tell the story, to try and get the runtime down for the cinemas, right? Director's cuts, big fan. So yeah, Kingdom of Heaven, but yeah, that's the Ridley Scott directed that as well. So he's the one who directs Napoleon, which is out now with Joaquin Phoenix in it. Definitely want to go and see that. But there's a scene in Kingdom of Heaven which just speaks to me. It's all the odds. There's 24 knights that are running into this huge army of Saracens. That they're just going to die. They're just doing it to protect the village. Basically, they're just doing it out of sheer will. Which I think is great, and that speaks to me as pure oppression. The reason why I like Azalea was because she was garbage. She was rubbish. Nobody was playing her, but I wanted to. I love those scenes where it's like all against all odds. The hope, the potential of potentially succeeding against all odds is the thing that I really like.
Before people lose their minds, I would like to correct myself. Master and Commander was not directed by Ridley Scott. So
no,
it was Peter Weir did Master Commander.
And you have a film degree?
Yeah.
Quick, name five directors.
You have you like movies, huh? Name every movie.
Quentin Tarantino.
I understand why you got the confusion though, because Russell Crowe is in Master Commander.
And he's in Gladiator. Yeah,
he's in Gladiator.
Ridley Scott. I know Ridley Scott did like the Alien, at least the first Alien film.
Right. Blade Runner as well, absolute classic.
Love Blade Runner.
He's.
I'm looking at his history. He's got like a hit and miss. Because he also did Prometheus, which was not good, and Alien Covenant, which was.
I mean, this could turn into a whole podcast, but I love controversial directors also. Like Zack Snyder has also had that sort of track record where he's released absolute bangers and then to some absolute shitstorms. But to me, I absolutely love it. I loved Sucker Punch.
I mean, I
love that.
I mean, Sucker Punch is like a guilty pleasure movie for sure.
It's brilliant.
Blade Runner, by the way,
a bunch of hot women running around in dream-like scenarios. It's just like
they are literally like weird fever dream things. But
brilliant.
Blade Runner and Blade Runner 2049. Blade Runner 2049 was actually incredible. I was coming in with a very snobby perspective because I love the original Blade Runner. I literally studied it in school. I took whole courses on cyberpunk just as a genre. And I went into Blade Runner 2049 being like, it's probably going to suck. And I thought it was like really good. Like I really love Blade Runner 2049. I think it's an incredible movie.
But as you say, he's done a lot of hit and miss.
Gladiator 2? There's going to be a Gladiator. I'm just reading his thing. Apparently there's going to be a Gladiator 2 in 2024.
Apparently so. That's one I'm not really stoked on. I don't understand how that's going to happen. It's just bloody Hollywood needs to take a break. They really
Have you seen the end of Gladiator? I don't want to spoil 2000s, the 2000 smash hit Gladiator.
He's dead. Maximus Decimus Meridius is dead.
Everyone is dead. Everyone dies in Gladiator. All of the characters are dead except for that lady. Like,
I don't know.
How? Just all this like children are dead too. Like that's the whole point of the movie. Like it's not like he's got like a son who's gonna avenge him or something. I don't know.
No, he joins them at the end, doesn't he? Because he dies and goes back to their.
I wonder if it's like a prequel or something while he was the general or something. I don't know.
Yeah, Hollywood just needs to stop trying to cash grab on existing IPs and try and make good films again. Which aren't.
There's some
Flesh and Blood did it, for fuck's sake. They made an IP out of nothing. And
there's some good films here and there. There's some good films here and there, like original ones, but they're like, you know, maybe a little bit more rare than
exactly, much more rare.
I'm trying to think of like the last unique cool one I saw in theaters. Oh, there's got to be at least some cool science fiction ones that I saw.
Well, I was supposed to see The Creator, which had Hans Zimmer do the music for, which is again another amazing musical cinematic person that does great music. I didn't watch that, just didn't get the time to it, but that was supposed to be quite good. The Creator.
Ridley Scott's making another Alien movie too, called Alien Romulus. What the hell?
Really?
I actually really like the Alien movies as well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I've done like academic stuff regarding the Alien movies. I think it's really fascinating, the transition between Alien 1, Alien 2. Yeah, different directors though, because Alien 2 was James Cameron. Different kind of vibe. Alien 1.
Oh yeah,
Aliens 1's like different. I argue, and I think this is not a hot take. Alien 1 is more of a horror film, whereas Alien 2 is more of like a sci-fi action kind of thing. But anyway,
that's right.
I cut myself off there. Like
after the 20-minute step, but yeah, it feels like it's been a while since we've done this. I don't know why, but maybe it's because me and Bill were in the same room last time.
Hey,
this format seems like it's been a while, so we had an extra long one today. So
we can eke out some engagement. Hey, dear listener or viewer, what's your favorite Ridley Scott film? Actually, what's your favorite? You can do that, or what's your favorite movie that you saw recently? So you can either tie it into Az's thing or Bill's thing.
Yeah.
My favorite Ridley Scott film is probably the original Blade Runner. That's probably mine. Gladiator's really good too, though. I do like Gladiator quite a bit.
Yeah. Nice.
I'm trying to think of the last original film that I saw that was good.
Yeah, I can't think of anything either original.
What's that movie?
Recent, anyway.
It's not super recent. Oh my god. It's like with Natalie Portman, the sci-fi movie. Oh my god.
Oh, Annihilation.
Yeah, that one. There we go. That one.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, we could we're going to start up a new podcast. It's all about films and everything. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it for Living Legends podcast this week. Thank you very much for everybody who's tuned in until now. And let us know what your favorite Ridley Scott film is, or your favorite recent film that you've watched recently. Whether that's a new film or something you just watched recently, like Bill said with the rom-com. Just let us know.
My answer is Loki. It's not a film, but we recently finished Loki. Loki was very good. So.
Oh yeah, there's a load of series you need to catch up on as well. Gen Z was the last thing I watched, which was the Boys tie-in. I'm not sure whether you guys have watched that, whether you're fans of the Boys, but
I'm familiar with the Boys, but I haven't watched the tie-in.
Yeah, so it's pretty good. It's like the thing that happens between season 3 and the next season that's coming out. It's the bit in between that. So it's pretty good watch. But yeah, anyway, that's pretty much it for today. I've been Az from Go Again Gaming. Tune into my channel on Saturday because there's going to be a spoiler there. And then the Flesh and Blood football match content is going to come out the day after that. So a nice weekend of content from my side. So go and have a look.
Nice.
I'll throw it over to Bill.
I am Bill. I am from the Spike Feeders. You can find me on social media at BillTSF. You can also find me on YouTube at Spike Feeders Fab. We do live edited gameplay content. If that's something that interests you, you should definitely come check us out. And we are currently, I think the last update that I got is that we are basically screaming towards being done editing our live in-person UPF gameplay, which will be hosted on our main channel, which is just the Spike Feeders. So if you're looking for something like that, it was a very good time. So please feel free to give that a watch as well and show us some support. So we might be doing stuff like that again in the future.
Nice. Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that. And I'm Kel.
And last but certainly not least,
Red Zone Rogue. You can find me everywhere at Red Zone Rogue. For Flesh and Blood, I do weekly Flesh and Blood content on my channel. Talk about a myriad of things on Twitter, and you can find me at Facebook and Instagram, all at Red Zone Rogue. Yeah, I will say, if you do subscribe to me on YouTube, you can also expect at least a variety of content as well. I do weekly Flesh and Blood content, but I'm full-time content creator, so I also will put out weekly Grand Archive and Shadowverse content as well, plus whatever scattering of other things like this weird superhero, or not superhero, but this weird wrestling card game. And then, like I said, we're taking a look at like Vanguard. Lots of cool stuff. If you like card games, hey, come hang out. I like card games. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. But until next time, we've been Living Legends podcast, and yeah, we'll see you all over again next week. And yeah, that's it really. Cheers, folks.
Yeah. See you around, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Hot diggity donut!